Emotive content is not exclusive to animation. If anything, it's a feat of immense scale that pictures can motivate us. With television, if they're well written, characters are largely easier to sympathise and relate to due to them being portrayed by other humans. Though, as I say, this isn't to anime's detriment. Instead, it's to its benefit. The reach of moments such as Owen's final charge, Moomin Rider's stand,
I'm not good enough. I know that much.
or Midoriya getting back up is vast. Though, the thumbnail of this video is not any of those. The series I've chosen to put in the thumbnail are Gurren Lagann and Blue Lock, two incredibly interesting cases in regards to their effect on people.
I'm learning to have more love and acceptance for my body.
Your life literally is as valuable as a summer ant.
Motivation is further described as an internal state that propels individuals to engage in goal-directed behaviour. It is often understood as a force that explains why people or animals initiate, continue, or terminate a certain behaviour at a particular time. It is a complex phenomenon, and its precise definition is disputed. Using this disputed definition of what motivation means, I intend to analyse the motivation exhibited by these two series. Blue Lock displays the grounded sense of what it takes, with a warped sense of lone wolf syndrome as its catalyst, whilst Gurren Lagann represents the opposite, a hopeful motivation in the same sense as the indomitable human spirit trend. In order to analyse this, I'm going to go into spoilers for the manga of Blue Lock and the finale for Gurren Lagann, so skip to these times if you wish to not be spoiled. If you're still here though, let's get started. Blue Lock's U20 match is an arc which unites characters with one singular goal, to beat the Japan U20 team. If they don't, Blue Lock will be shut down and they will never be able to play football again. We kick off this scene. The match is tied at 3-3 with it going to added time. The ball is in a death match between Rin and Sai, with the flavour text calling this the final matchup. So by all accounts, one of these two will score the finisher, or it'll be a draw, meaning Blue Lock is over. Sai attempts to hit it with a back heel shot, but Rin intercepts and sends it flying, just as it did in the second selection. This scene works so well because for the last chapter, the focus hasn't been on Asagi at all, the same way the focus wasn't on Rin when luck got played in his favour in the second selection. Him using an early form of metavision here and being the only player capable of scoring is so effective because the reader didn't see it coming. The panelling works to the advantage here too, with Isagi going from having zero panel presence the whole chapter to dominating the final pages. This spirals with the fact that this is the 11th hour. He managed to change the game this late on in added time. This concept of it never being too late and the every second counts mentality here is often driven to death in marketing, but it's true. In life, it may be the case that we don't get the chance to do what we want with others stealing the centre stage, others that have already established themselves. Though, it's despite this that we can make a name for ourselves and lead ourselves to the places we want to go, just as Asagi did here. Where Blue Lock excels in the motivation aspect is its application of its educational real-world concepts such as flow state. One of my favourite chapters is that which dives into the achievement of a flow state. This genuinely helped myself and I'm sure many others in achieving a better understanding of how to increase your motivation, which is one of the key benefits Blue Lock offers. It showcases the how. Dialing this into the example of Isagi's U20 goal, not only is it incredibly hype-inducing from the chapter itself in isolation, the building blocks that leads up to this makes it feel as if it's achievable. I'll make this section brief. Izuki starts the series with no ego or no motivation. He has the drive to, even going to the point of tears, over how much he desires to score goals. Just no opportunity. If there had been a future where the Blue Lock program didn't begin, Izuki probably would have quit football and ended up similar to Barra's vision of himself where he was close to giving in. But that's not what happens. Izuki attends Blue Lock and is given the right amount of challenge mixed with the right amount of enjoyment to hoist himself full pelt into his goals. He develops his weapon, the direct shot, which he uses to score the final goal, his ego itself, which gives him the ability to make the plays that he wants to, and here his meta vision, which allows Izuki to see the field completely, finding the best path to win the game through it. This is one of those scenes in manga where from the moment you start the chapter to the moment you finish it, you're locked in. There's very little dialogue and the artwork is spectacular. Everyone's reaction of sheer euphoria following the goal is enough to give you goosebumps. And then there's Ego's reaction as well. It's just chef's kiss. It's the classic hardened mentor giving the nod, but it's a cliche that never fails to get me hyped up. With that, the chapter is over, and so is this section of the video. Going from a football match to a clash which decides not if you'll be able to play in a tournament, but if life can continue to thrive is probably quite jarring, but hear me out. The entire message of Gurren Lagann in drilling to the heavens is incredible in the spectacle it presents to the audience. Going from episode 1 to the final episode is jaw-dropping when considering the change in its stakes. Simon the Digger leading rebel forces against the nature of the universe itself is, as corny as it sounds, a moving example of never giving up and believing in yourself, or, in this case, believing in the me that believes in you. The final confrontation pits Simon's squadron against the Anti-Spiral, a force of complete domination and oppression. This is literally present in the name of the being itself. Spiral energy is what imbues the Spiral race, or humans, with their will, their spirit. The Anti-Spiral is not just the antithesis of the protagonist's ideologies, but a complete contradiction of them as humans. With everybody on Earth looking on determinedly, Simon and his crew stand off against the Anti-Spiral, transforming into the Tengen Topper Gurren Lagann, with the Anti-Spiral growing in size to match. Simon is the first to launch an attack, Giga Drill Break. As he does so, the Anti-Spiral does the same and the two slam heads into each other. The clash is enough to distort the space around them as we drift further and further away, only to be thrown right back into the clash with the Anti-Spiral beating Tengen Topper, then beating the next, more and more until Gurren Lagann is all that is left. Viral and Simon launch themselves towards the Anti-Spiral, being caught up in his spikes. In a last-ditch effort, Viral throws Gurren, with Gurren then throwing Simon, leading to him landing his fist straight into the Anti-Spiral's face. The two brawl, and with one final attack, Simon claims victory. My description here doesn't even begin to do justice to what this scene represents, and the amount of cheers that probably erupted from the cinema when this aired. Though, why is it so motivating and what can we learn from it? To begin, Simon's character development comes to mind, starting as a digger in an underground civilization, never having seen the outside world until the first episode. Simon's rise to the literal top is a great visualization of human desire. His drill will pierce the heavens. Unlike Blue Lock, it doesn't focus on the real-world concepts that can get you to places, it focuses on the spirit. It shows that no matter where you are, who you are, what you did, you can still beat every single challenge that comes your way. Moving on, with the Anti-Spiral embodying essentially anti-humanity, it acts as a figurehead for humans to fight against. Again, here it's all about visualization. A sleep paralysis-esque black figure with no detail is blank enough for almost anyone to apply almost anything they want onto it. The design gives nothing and everything at the same time, and I think this plays a substantial part in why this scene in particular is so widely circulated years after its release. Desperation here is a key part too. There is a time limit for the protagonists, a final time limit. If they fail, everything ends. That's just how powerful the enemy is. The Giga Drill clash is so intense because of this too, the framing only going to add to this tension as galaxies begin spinning off their axis. Once Simon loses the clash, immediately they start being driven back, with the music picking up. We go through all of the progress that we've made to this point, with it literally being destroyed. What it takes is for Simon to be thrown twice, essentially landing that first punch by the skin of his teeth. Obviously, the stunning animation, scale, music, voice acting help amazingly though. And hell, there is a whole world of anime out there that can motivate people because at the end of the day, it's down to the individual. You may watch these scenes and feel nothing. If that's you and you're still watching, you're a legend though. This has been my deep dive into the motivational attributes of two specific scenes. If you like this video, let me know. Any support I get lets me know to keep going and to keep making more content like this in the future. But until that time, have a great morning, afternoon or evening, and I'll see you in the next video.